I'm just asking tonight if our county manager and clerk would note this as part of the meeting tonight about this road that have already been approved by this board because it met all the requirements, being a road there by 1975, and it meets all the requirements. And we just need to do what we need to do in making sure that the state live up to their obligation. I just want to make it part of the minutes so we have it. Want you to know it's part of our minutes, and you shall hear from our clerk to the board and from the state. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sylvia Vincent.
Good evening, commissioners, and to all of you that are present this afternoon. I'm here tonight again because of a great concern over the solar fields that are getting into this area. You know, and my concern grows as I continue to read articles about these solar panels. And one thing I was intrigued about when I was reading was the blade and grade. And in case you don't know what it is, this is where the trees and every bit of foliage is removed and the land is flattened. This is happening in the Voltaire community where I live, and they continue to work there. They continue to work there. All of this activity leads to habitat degradation. Solar farms are destroying the ecosystem, and they're slowly doing it. Every type of insect, land animal, and the bird depends on this ecosystem. Setting solar farms in such areas do define us as being inhuman to them. And a recent survey of wildlife conservation agencies has found that lots of wildlife lost their habitat because of the solar farms. On top of that, they look so bad, it destroys the beauty of the area. It's like a single drop of poison in a glass of water. Around some solar farms that I've read articles from, people are starting to find dead bodies of animals and birds. Another thing, the panel reflects rays that are intensive and it damages their eyesight for a while. Flocks of birds fly over, thinking them to be a lake. And I left pictures a couple of months ago of what a huge solar field looks like. It was an aerial view and it looked just like a lake, just like a lake. And so birds, they dive into that. And from that, then the radiation and the heat from the panels kills them, okay? Then there's the extensive amount of electromagnetic radiation that comes from those panels. Of course, the sun produces a certain amount, a bunch of that radiation, but then you have the panels there. They're producing even more electromagnetic radiation, okay? The electromagnetic radiation, we have to be careful of being out in that even from the sun. So if we are living in an area and you have all these solar panels producing the same thing, what do you think it's going to do to our health? Okay. Solar panels and their related equipment are the culprits that produce hypersensitive waves. We call it electromagnetic waves. This wave is super strong to damage our environment. No doubt, it is unhealthy for everyone living near the solar farms. That's why people near the solar farms get sick frequently. Most of the times, victims experience headaches. If you don't take the necessary steps, then it could be life-threatening to you. And then the further reading of some articles, they say the best suggestion is you should search for a new place to live. I don't have a new place to move to. Me, along with the whole Voltaire community, they are about to surround us with solar panels, and we continuously pray that you all have some compassion and not allow them to continue to saturate the area with solar panels. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We hear you, we hear you well. Have not been a problem. It started, this problem came before some years ago to all the new board members. This problem came up some years ago. We put a stop for as long as we could. And you'll hear more about it tonight, but I want you to know this is not the first time we've had this. We even had people from North Carolina State University come down to talk to us about it. And at the end of the day, it was a fact of we couldn't really do much about solar farm. I just want you to know that. And as we go through and we're gonna be educated about this, you will be educated about this. Then you hear the same thing that we heard 4 years ago about solar farm. Thank you. Is there another one?
No, sir, that's all I have.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Citizens, we do hear you. We hear you well. We want you to know we hear you. We'll be talking more about all these things that you come before us tonight. We'll be talking about them in days to come. At this time, we're gonna have a Board of Equalization and Review. You please come forward, Ms. Mason. That's Administrator.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
We do know I'm dismissed, not dismissed, but
Just going to convene the
Well, convene.
Board of Equalization and Review.
Okay.
yes.
All right, good evening. I'm before you for the Board of Equalization and Review. In your package, you should have minutes from the meeting of May the 13th, 2024.
Yes.
For your review and approval.
Yes. The minutes of our meeting, it's included in our agenda for tonight. What is your pleasure, board members? Need a motion on approval of the minute.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded to approve the minutes. Are there any other questions? Discussion. If not, all in favor, let it be known by usual sign. Aye.
I, Broadnax Taylor.
Aye.
Ayes have it. It's carried.
All right, thank you. At this time, any unresolved appeals that we have will be brought before you, the Board of Commissioners at a later time.
Thank you.
And we look to adjourn the Board of Equalization and Review for 2024.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
It is adjourned. Let us continue now with our commissioners' agenda. Annual Trillium update.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me to come before you this evening. My name is Bobby Lowe. I'm the Regional Vice President with Trillium Health Resources. I did want to take a quick second and introduce a couple coworkers who came with me tonight. You guys stand? I've got Annette Daughtry. She is our Community Liaison Coordinator. She works specifically in Northampton County. She attends meetings in your county. She's really kind of the boots on the ground. And we've got Terrell Austin. He is our Director of Community Engagement and Empowerment. He joined us with the recent consolidation, and he focuses on empowering our communities and the members that we're serving right now. Next slide. So I just want to kind of provide you an update on what's going on since I was here last year. So we always look at our numbers from the fiscal year behind. So in fiscal year 22-23, Trillium served just under 44,000 individuals for mental health, substance use, or developmental disability services. Those services came to about $650 million of care provided across Eastern North Carolina. Next slide. So you heard for years us talk about tailored plan. When Bland Baker would come and talk to you, he would tell you the tailored plan was delayed. That was a story for a couple of years. So this year that has changed. I am not here to tell you the tailored plan is delayed. I'm here to tell you it goes live in 27 days. And just to kind of give you guys an update on what happened to get us there. So with all the delays, the General Assembly took some steps to make sure that tailored plans would be able to go live and that they would be successful and sustainable when that happened. So with the budget this year, they put into legislation that the number of LME MCOs would change. There could be up to 6. The legislation changed to say there could only be 4 or 5. If you think back, there were previously 6 MCOs. So that means something had to change there. They also increased the minimum population. It used to be an MCO could have about 1 million people. It changed to 1.5. It also gave the Secretary of Health and Human Services the authority to make changes to the LME MCO structure to make sure tailored plans could go live. And it put into law that the go live date was July 1st. So there are a lot of things that happened to bring us to where we are today to make sure that these tailored plans could go live to support really the most vulnerable people in your community. Next slide. So with some of those changes, what that meant for us was consolidation. The original legislation around tailored plans, so there could be up to 6, but it changed to 4 or 5. So that meant something had to change. So the secretary issued a directive the 1st of November, and that directive said that East Point and Sandhills LME MCO would consolidate, and then those 2 entities would consolidate with Trillium. There were lots of consolidation plans. The final one was approved by the Secretary of Health and Human Services around mid-December. And February 1st, Trillium, East Point, and Sandhills consolidated. So that now puts us serving 46 counties. I can't say Eastern North Carolina anymore, across Eastern North Carolina and up to the mid part of the state. If you look at that time frame, that was really quick. There was a lot of work put in to make sure that could happen and happen successfully to reduce disruptions to people in care and people who receive services. Next slide. So with our consolidation, it puts us up to 46 counties. The total population in our 46 counties is now 3.1 million individuals. When the tailored plan goes live, there'll be about 51,000 people within our 46 counties who will be served on a tailored plan. We'll have about 163 people who fall under Medicaid Direct, and there are about 287 people who still are uninsured within those 46 counties. Next slide. To try to keep a local connection, we expanded our regions. If you remember, probably in 2015, we came before the board and got approval to do a regional structure. So instead of our 3 regions, we now have 5. Northampton County remains in our northern region. The only change for us was adding Warren County. But now we have a total of 5 regions. Each of those regions has a Consumer and Family Advisory Council. That's a council we have that's made up of people who receive services, people with lived experience, or family members. Each of those regions has a regional advisory board, and that's the board that you all appoint people to. So right now for Northampton, Dr. Edwards is on our board, and then we have 1 vacant seat that you could appoint another person to. And those regional boards appoint people up to our governing board. So that allows us to continue to have kind of a local connection, because with this consolidation, we didn't want that to get lost, because we are local, we are your public agency, and we are part of your community. So we were able to keep our regional structure. Next slide. Just a little refresher on the tailored plan. And I know you all have heard this a lot, but this is the biggest change to Medicaid care in decades. The changes to how care is delivered, it's huge. So for people who have the most severe behavioral health needs, substance use, developmental disability services, they will be receiving all their care through Trillium. We essentially are their public health plan, so that we, just as they've been accessing behavioral health care through us, they will now also access physical health care and pharmacy benefits. So we have contracted with thousands upon thousands of doctors, pharmacies, hospitals, cardiologists, any specialist or person who sees someone with Medicaid. We've been working on contracting with them over the past several years. And so that's how we'll be supporting the people who have the highest level of need. For most people who have Medicaid in your county, they are very likely served on a standard plan. And so those are those 5 insurance companies that are managing Medicaid for most people who need care in your county. The insurance plans who manage that are listed up there. But what that means is if they need to see a primary care doctor or cardiologist, they go through their standard plan. If they need to see a therapist or a psychiatrist, they would also go through their standard plan for that. So we're not managing care for that population, but we're continuing to see the people who have the highest level of need. And those are the people we've supported for the past 40 years. This is a population we've continued to support. Next slide. So getting ready for this tailored plan, we've done some changes. We've expanded some provider-based tailored care management, which is putting care management back out to agencies in the community. We've also been doing plan-based care management, which is care management done through Trillium. We've also done some specialty teams. I'll just hit up on one. We've developed a team that's really in the process of building called Trillium Support Transition and Reentry. And it's focusing on people who are in prisons, who are Trillium members, to try to help them be successful when they leave. We've also done a lot of focus on whole person care and population health, really just trying to look at treating the whole person, because integrated care is the best model. Next slide. So just a couple of updates. So we've been able to get some substance abuse prevention set up actually in Northampton County schools. We've worked with the school system, and we're going to have sold out youth. We'll be going live in the school probably next year in the 2 different high schools. I think probably 9th grade is about the age it'll start, but it's really about substance abuse prevention, and it focuses on opioids and fentanyl, because those are some real epidemics that are deadly for the youth right now. We continue to do naloxone kits. So I'll be reaching out to you real soon. I've got a shipment in. I've just got to sort them all out. And this year with the naloxone, we're also going to be doing some fentanyl and xylazine test strips. And that works great in Northampton because you've got a community paramedic now. So I'll be reaching to you about those soon. Let me see. We've also been doing reentry simulations. So we've done those in a couple different areas. We had one next door in Halifax, and I think we've got one coming up. Probably Hertford County will be the next closest one. And that's where you participate and you walk through what it is like leaving prison and having to reenter society. And it is an actual demonstration. It is not somewhere where you sit and you listen to someone talk to you. You're given a packet and it tells you you've got $40, you've got a driver's license, no social security card, and you've got to find a place to live and you don't have a car. And you have to go to different stations and figure out how to navigate all these things. So if we bring one of those close, if you're free, it's a good experience. It's definitely eye-opening. Next slide. A couple upcoming projects. We've worked with the Department of Health and Human Services to bring Chest Health to people. That's an app, a mobile application for people who are in recovery from substance use. We also continue to expand Oxford houses for long-term recovery. And we got a grant to bring Back at Home North Carolina, which helps people who are unhoused, who are literally unhoused, to try to get them in stable housing. Next slide. All right, so some numbers for Northampton County. So we served 595 unique individuals in Northampton County, 401 for mental health, 155 for substance use, and 67 with developmental disability. And that's what I've got for y'all tonight.
Thank you. I want to thank you for the report. Thank you for reporting back to us. We do know that we appreciate you and we appreciate how you're working with our health department. Likewise, in Northampton County, you all got a partnership that's out of sight. I just want to thank you for coming to tonight to present it, giving us the data behind the kinds of things that you're doing. Board members, do you have anything that you need to say? Other than they just doing a good job.
I have a question.
Sure.
Of mental health, the people that you see in Northampton County, 401. When you say mental health, Are you talking about anxiety, depression, stress? Can you
Yeah.
specify?
So these numbers are based on claims. So this means someone saw a person for a diagnosis that fits here and they billed us for that service. And so it could be any of those things. Now, stress alone would not be a specific diagnosis, but it fits into a lot of different things. So
Absolutely.
it could be depression, it could be anxiety, it could be something more serious. It's a wide variety and it's based on a diagnosis for paid claims. Is how those numbers come into play.
Do you find that our citizens are really coming over to utilize your services? Because y'all have great services. Are they open to the counseling aspect of getting assistance?
Yeah, I mean, we served almost 600 people. And standard plans went live in 2021. So your average citizen with Medicaid is not receiving care through us anymore. So even with that, we 595 people still receive care under our umbrella.
I was concerned about that because I know there's still a stigma out there about receiving mental health services.
Yeah.
There's still a stigma out there.
There is, and it's gotten better, but it's 100% still there. So we did a program called One Community a few years ago, right at the end of COVID, and their role is around public education, health literacy. So they set up at different places in the counties, and they've even gone to like a drugstore and just shared information. A lot of times it's around mental health or substance use. We also have done a lot of work with like online campaigns around different months and billboards. Right now we have billboards out that say like mental health is health, just to try to normalize some of those conversations because you can't have health without mental health.
And you still have your crisis line. Am I correct?
We still have, we have a mobile crisis team that can come and serve people here. We also still have the mobile unit that sets up at DSS several times a week, and people can receive care right out of the mobile unit.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. Continue to do the good work.
All right, thank you. And thank you.
Citizens of Northampton County. At this time, we shall continue and we shall now hear from our Agricultural Advisory Board, Brandon Peak. Please come. Yes. Hi.
Brandon Pike, yes, sir, that's me. I'm Brandon Pike with the Cooperative Extension Office. I'm the livestock agent, and I am here to see if we can get our Agricultural Advisory Board members reappointed. The Agricultural Advisory Board has 6 members plus a county commissioner serving as a member. And through the years of COVID and staff turnover and me coming on board and figuring out what the Agriculture Advisory Board was, all of our members' terms have expired. I've spoken with all our members and all but one were willing to serve again. Mr. Belch was willing to serve again. Mr. Martin, Mr. Taylor, Mr. Tim Hollowell, Mr. Tim Fly were also willing to serve. I reached out to Mr. Jethro Branch and he was willing to also serve as a replacement for our one missing member. Together, they cover all 4 regions that Northampton County is divided into and fill our 2 at-large spots with a equal representation across the county as a whole. So request that they be appointed to the Agricultural Advisory Board.
Thank you. Thank you. At this time, I do note that we have all in our package, all the application, all the information we need to use to appoint people to our board, and especially to this board. And I see that all of them are completed, all of them there. I want to know at this time, board members, what is your pleasure?
I think, well, before we move forward, I looked over all the applications. And what I liked about what I read was, I want to serve and I want to protect the land. Because a lot of people don't know that Northampton County is under the voluntary agriculture district. And that means that we have a love and care for the land. that has been given to us. It also means with that, we also have in place, and I don't know if we have it, and that's why I'm so glad you're gonna have a working board. Because that working board can put together a Northampton County agriculture protection plan. Because when you're a voluntary agricultural district, you have to have a protection plan in place. Also, when doing my research, I read an ordinance that was written back in 2006. And Mr. Carter was the commissioner at that time. And it talked about being a voluntary agriculture district. And it put a lot of emphasis on how we should be stewards of the land. So when I hear Ms. Vincent talk about solar farms, Mr. Pike, I think about your department and the work that you all can bring to this table when it comes to solar farms. There's a lot of information out there, and I didn't get deep until I think I had 5 cups of coffee trying to figure it out. But it's a lot of information, but what I do know to the citizens, we are a voluntary agriculture district. And because of that, that means that we have told the state of North Carolina that we value the land in Northampton County. So I'm so glad everybody talked about their love of land on their application. And I found that very rewarding. Very rewarding.
Thank you very much. I'll pass that along to.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
And thank you.
Are there, Kevin? Could I have a motion and that we approve this piece?
Make a motion, we approve the 6 names put forward to serve on the Agriculture Advisory Board.
Second,
When properly seconded, we would accept the names given to us for the Agriculture Advisory Board. Are you ready for question? So all in favor, let it be known by usual sign aye.
I Broadnax Taylor.
Aye.
Aye. First time. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you all very much.
At this time, we want to talk about the proposed candidates appointments to the Roanoke Chowan Public Transportation Authority. This time you have in your package the persons whom we love to who have been recommended to represent us there. Board members, what is your pleasure?
Chairman, what I saw was 2 people that want to get back on that board.
Yes,
And that's a good thing. That must be a good board.
it's Ms. Fly.
Thanks. For the record, the recommendations are for Joseph Fly and Wanda Fly.
Could I have a motion?
Chairman Tyner, I make a motion that we accept the applications to our CPTA Board of Directors of Mr. Joseph Flight and Miss Wanda Flight.
Could I have a second? We proper second that we would appoint the flights to the board. Any questions? Any discussion? Not all in favor, let know by usual sign aye.
Aye.
I Broadnax Taylor.
Aye.
Aye. I've had it, motion is carried. Can we continue on now to the health department matters?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The first matter that you all have in your packet is a decision paper to request the Board of Commissioners approval of the proposed Health Department clinic and lab rates to be effective July 1, some backstory. Local health departments are entitled to reimbursement rates based upon a cost report that reflects results conducive to the regulations set forth by the NCDHHS Division of Health Benefits. Each year, our health department billing committee researches, individually analyzes each rate. We go by line. And we do that by comparing them to the most recent Medicaid rates that change, the fees surrounding counties and health department costs to provide that service. The billing committee met on May the 9th of 2024 and agreed upon the proposed clinic and lab rates for fiscal year 25. The proposed rates were submitted to and approved by the Board of Health on May the 14th, 2024.
Board members, you have any questions? Have any questions?
No
If
question.
not, could I have a motion then?
Make a motion to approve the rates as presented.
Second,
Moving proper second, that we will approve the rates as presented by the health department. Any questions in discussion? If not, all in favor, let known by usual sign.
I, Broadnax Taylor.
Faulkner.
I have him. Motion is carried. Continue.
Our second matter, just like we have to do every year with our clinic and lab rates, we also have to set our environmental health fees. And you'll see the same thing here, that the billing committee met on May the 9th and agreed upon and proposed environmental health rates for fiscal year 25. Let it be known that after our review that there are no changes to this year's rates. They are the exact same as last year. They were voted and approved by the Board of Health on May 14th, 2024.
Good. Board members, got any questions before I ask for a motion? Could I at this time get a motion that we approve the rates?
Make a motion to approve the environmental health rates for 2024-25 as presented.
Second,
Moving properly second, that we approve the rates that's given to us by our health director. And any questions and discussion? Not all in favor, let nobody use your sign aye.
I, Broadnax Taylor.
Aye.
Let's have a motion carried.
The next item that I have is I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Fine.
Is a decision paper to request the Board of Commissioners approval of a contract for nutritionist services provided by Nutrition Plus of Greenville. And the reason that we are asking for the approval of this is our long-term nutritionist has retired as of last Friday. She has been our nutritionist for 32 years. She served us well. But to continue our WIC certifications and other duties that she has, we have to have a nutritionist or dietitian on board. So this contract is needed until our WIC director position can be filled in order to provide dietetic consultation, oversight, and clinical nutrition assessments to meet state mandated nutrition services for WIC eligible clients. This particular agency has been used. You'll see in there that it's been used by other surrounding counties. I know that Edgecombe and Halifax have both used this agency in their interim while they have been searching for a WIC director, and had very good things to say about them. The rate is, they are asking for a rate of $50 per hour. The contract will be for a total of 22.5 hours a week, which is 3 days for 20 weeks, which will total $22,500. And there are funds already in our budget for in the 2024 and 2020, the proposed 25 budget to cover this cost.
Thank you.
Is this, I know it's for a term of 20 weeks. If you hire a new nutritionist for that time,
Yes.
does this terminate that?
It can be terminated. However, I will say that I also have to, because WIC is under the federal guidelines with USDA, they have to be, that person has to be trained, I believe, 6 months. So I would be very careful to make sure that all their training is done. But yes, in the event that this person catches on and they complete all of their required training, that yes, this contract can be terminated.
Thank you. What's your pleasure? The contract?
Make a motion, we approve the contract for a nutritionist as presented.
second,
With a proper second, that we would hire nutritious as presented to us, amount of money that's given to us.
Approving a contract. Hiring.
Again,
We are advertising for a WIC director, but in the meantime, in our interim, we're going to be contracting with Nutrition Plus.
contracted. Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right. You'll be contracting
Yes, sir.
person. Okay, you are all in favor of the nomination?
Broadnax Taylor.
Aye.
Let's have a motion.
The last matter that I wanted to bring to you all tonight was to provide you with information regarding the Northampton County Health Department being awarded the reaccreditation with honor status. The North Carolina Local Health Department Accreditation Program, initiated in 2002, is a mandated process to which North Carolina local health departments must participate in, which seeks to assure and enhance the quality of local public health in North Carolina by promoting the implementation of activities for local public health departments and evaluating and accrediting local health departments on their ability to meet these activities. The program is based on 3 core functions of assessment, assurance, and policy development, and the 10 essential services as detailed in the National Public Health Performance Standards Program. I traveled to Raleigh on the May 17th for the official NCLHCA board meeting, where we were awarded with a plaque reaccreditation with honor status. This honorary designation was implemented to recognize agencies that especially excelled in their accreditation assessment by missing 1 or less activities within each of the 5 standards of the program. We discussed our site visit, which occurred January 31st of this year. Their findings, which showed that our agency met 147 out of 147 benchmarks with a perfect score.
Right,
Gracious.
right,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
righty.
This process is usually a 4-year process, but because of COVID with the extensions, it was 6 years. So we had to provide 6 years of evidence. I'm sure you all know that I was asking you for things and Mr. McKellar for things, and I appreciate all of you that have helped. Ms. Kenya as well. I appreciate you all in your help on this, and it obviously worked out to our advantage. So the site visit team itself was highly complimentary of the Board of Health, agency leadership, staff, and the agency's resiliency during our COVID-19 response. They had a lot to say about the way that we handled COVID-19 in this county. So just wanted you all to know that a press release will be going out to the area papers, and just wanted you all to know that we received that honor. So
Congratulations.
thank you.
Job well done.
Thank you.
Each will of your department.
Thank you.
Doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you for that. And we appreciate all that you do.
Thank you.
Please tell your staff that.
I will.
I was on the health board at one time and I know what you had to go through.
Yeah.
I pray. So
Thank you.
so thank
I
you.
will pass it along. Yes, sir.
Make sure you tell them.
I will.
Tell your board of health directors that I'm appreciative of them too. They had to have a lot of input from them in order for this accreditation.
They did. Yes,
I
sir.
remember. Yes. Okay. So thank you. so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
Okay. Thank you.
At this time, we're gonna have the proposed amendments to the Northampton County zoning ordinance related to regulations, monitors, solar power generating facilities. Our attorney.
So Commissioner Tyner and board members, this matter is back on tonight's agenda because a vote on these amendments to the zoning ordinance were tabled at your last meeting. However, I suggest I'm here to present an update based on the instructions of the board at the last meeting. Mr. Derek Bennett, who is out this week, wanted me to advise the board that he has had discussions already with the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, is in the process or is obtaining information and instructional materials for this board. So that those materials are forthcoming. In addition, the board also instructed me to start pursuing a new moratorium on solar farms. And so that process, to remind the board, it does require a public hearing be held before a new moratorium can be enacted. That public hearing must be noticed at least 2 weeks prior to the enactment of the moratorium. So I'm here before the board, assuming the board still wants to potentially pursue that route and consider a new moratorium. My suggestion is to call for a public hearing on the 27th of June, which will be a special called meeting where the board is meeting anyway for the Conway and Severn Fire District public hearings. So my suggestion is just to add this public hearing to that evening's agenda. And if that is the will of the board, I will make sure that the public hearing notice was properly published.
Well, members, we're the attorney give us a report.
Derek,
I believe that all of us can agree with this report.
Absolutely.
We're gonna do again what we did some years ago. Stop all activities, new activities, sort upon until we come back, discuss and go over and see what lawful we can do. I think that will help us to have the public citizens will be involved. Then they will understand what we can and cannot do. Say that again. We're gonna bring in the state people, all that we need to bring in that can help us to have an understanding of what we can and cannot do solar farm. Okay. Board members, could I have a motion that we accept the proposal coming from our economic development and our attorney that we would at this time wait until we would do a public hearing. We'll do a public hearing at this time, and then at that time we determine what we can do for stopping. As of right now, I can tell all of you cannot be stopped permanently. It can be stopped.
I make a motion, we schedule a public hearing to pursue a moratorium for June 27th.
Second.
In proper second, we approve the report coming from our attorney. Are there any questions, any discussion? If not, in favor, known by usual sign aye.
I Broadnax Taylor.
Aye.
Faulkner.
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, okay, you own.
It was in
Okay.
Miss Faulkner, both on.
Both of them on. Well, y'all scaring me. Oh, I was saying, what in the world? Okay, ayes have it, motion is carried. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
This
this is
time
Derek.
we
Can you hear me?
At this time, we should. Yes. Who? Derek?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. You heard the motion that's been made and been suckered and passed, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
add some additional information to Scott's comments that I've also Commissioner Broadnax had discussions with the Center for Energy Research down in Roanoke Rapids, and they're going to assist as well and they'll bring some publications to the board and some information as well that will assist us as we revise the zoning ordinance and make our way through the moratorium.
Thank you. Thank you.
In addition to that, while we're on the zoning topics, if I may, at the last board meeting, the board had a split vote on the zoning permit amendments. Is that something that we're able to bring back to the table?
Is it in this?
We voted for the multi-purpose, multi-use housing, but we did not vote on the solar.
That's correct.
Yeah.
There was no, I'm trying, Mr. Bennett, I'm trying to understand the permit fees. That was voted
Oh, yeah,
down.
that was.
So I don't think it was a split vote. It was voted down. Or
No,
if it wasn't a majority vote.
Split vote, so it was tied.
it was a
So
split
It
vote.
was a split vote. It was a split vote
I have all.
concerning the fees.
Yes.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that.
What is your pleasure tonight about that? We going to, it was split vote. Do we need to bring, I wouldn't hear them. It might be.
Well, a split vote technically means it did not pass
I understand that,
because you did not have a majority vote.
but can you bring it back?
You certainly can. It's not on tonight's agenda.
All right,
But it's the discretion of the board.
let's consider it for the next meeting again. I wasn't here and, someone else wasn't here, but let's do it again. Bring it back. Okay, we'll bring it back at next.
Are we're gonna look at the zoning ordinance, the other part of the zoning ordinance tonight?
It's up to you. I mean, it's certainly you, if you want to take action on that, it's certainly within the will of the board.
Preference one or the other. It may not be that if we do a moratorium, it may not be an issue right currently, but it does strengthen the ordinance.
It does.
Yeah, in the meantime, if we wanted to re-examine that, leave that up to the.
So tell me what you want to do. What you suggestion that we do? Let me say it.
Is this, are you to me?
To anyone on the board.
I'm talking to the board members. I listen to your comments.
Well, I would recommend we discuss those amendments. As Commissioner Ed mentioned, they do strengthen the overall ordinance. Even though we will revise the zoning ordinance and restructure it, at least it gives us additional coverage and oversight in the meantime.
Yeah.
It's not, reducing the oversight. It is covering the gaps that we currently have to some extent.
Okay, what is your pleasure, board?
I make a motion, we adopt the changes to the zoning.
Yeah.
As presented.
I have a second.
Second. Second.
Moving proper second that we would adopt the changes as presented. Are there any questions? Not all in favor. Let know by usual sign aye.
I, Broadnax Taylor.
Aye.
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 I have motion is carried. Thank you so much. Thank you, Attorney. Have I covered that?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we got financial matters. Yes.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I will be presenting 3 items on today for your consideration. One being an amended contract, 1 budget amendment, as well as the monthly financial report for the month of May. The contract that I will be representing is with Davenport and Company. This was brought forward last meeting. However, at the board's request, there was some verbiage that the board requested to be amended in the contract, and that is on page 2. And that would be section D under additional fees and expenses. This was in reference to any reasonable and necessary direct out-of-pocket expenses incurred by Davenport for any reason, such as meals and lodging. The request by the board was that these costs to be reviewed and would have to be agreed to by the county manager in order to be billed to the county. We did connect with Davenport, and they did make those amendments to the contract. Everything else stays the same. And this is the annual contract that we have to renew for our financial advisory services.
Board members, you've heard the report coming from finance. What is your, first of all, you have any questions? And she's gone back and done what, some of y'all have suggested we need to do. And, this was on our agenda last meeting. At this time, what is your pleasure? What is your pleasure?
Make a motion, we approve the contract for Davenport's Financial Advisory Services.
Second.
Would improper second, we would approve the concert services, Davenport. Any questions and discussion? If not, all in favor, it'll be known by usual sign aye.
I, Broadnax Taylor.
Aye.
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 Let's have a motion carried. Continue on.
Thank you. Next in front of you, you will have budget amendment number 98. This is on behalf of the Sheriff's Department. This is revenue received for an insurance reimbursement in the amount of $512.75. And the attached documentation is there for you as well.
Well, means you have the budget amendment that's given to us, $512.75. And I have a motion that we would add that to our line item. Receipt.
Make a motion, we approve budget amendment 98 for the insurance reimbursement.
Second.
In proper second, we will approve the budget amendment as given. Are there any questions in discussion? Not all in favor, let known by usual sign aye.
I, Broadnax Taylor.
Aye.
Aye. I've
Aye.
had motion. Motion is carried. At this time, are there any others? Yes. Well,
Yes, sir.
financial report.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay.
I will now be presenting the monthly financial spend report for the month of May. The rule of thumb for cumulative spend was to keep expenditures under 91.7% for May. The general fund was at 32.2 million or 83%. Department of Social Services was at 5.2 million at 66%. Fund 61, the enterprise fund, was at 2.4 million or 51%. Garysburg Water and Sewer was at $678,000 or 86%. And Solid Waste Fund 66 was at 2.3 million at 82%. So that was an overall of 79% expenditures for the month of May. That concludes the report,
Thank you for the information. We appreciate it.
sir.
But if board members, you got a question you need to ask about that? Board members, got any questions you need to ask about the financial report?
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
No
Okay,
question.
thank you. At this time, we shall have. Is that all you have?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
at this time, we have county manager.
Good evening, everyone. I have a whole lot for tonight. Just wanted to say thank you for all the employees that came out on this afternoon and met with Kenya and I to go over the billing. Not to get into the weeds, but basically we're working on year-end close, which I'm happy to say. You know, we're eagerly working on closing out the books and preparing to engage in our audit in July. Not next year, but in July of this year. So our plans is to make this year, I don't know if anyone has the history behind it, but get the audit done on October 30th, which is in accordance with local government commission requirements, and to knock on their door and to request that Northampton County be taken off of the unit assist list. That's been my goal since I started here, and I plan to see it through. So I'm happy and just excited and appreciate all that staff is doing. They came together as a group. They were working together and there was no bickering. They all wanted to resolve a lot of the issues we have with billing throughout the county to speed up the process, account for all of our revenues in a timely manner so that the bank statements can be reconciled and then we can do what we need to do from an audit point of view. So again, Kenya and your team, I thank you very much for what you all are doing and helping us to complete this goal that we want to complete. Again, I want to thank you all as citizens for coming out. We do listen to you and we're eager to hear what you have to say, and we are concerned about this county and where we're going. And we're going to continue to work and strive to stay on top. Thank you.
Thank you. We want to say thank you for the fine job you're doing. Thank you for keeping our finances in order. Number one, thank you for doing that. Thank you for having, making sure that we can do our audit and that we get off any list the state has us on because of the fact we had not completed our audit in a timely manner. So thank you for bringing us up, and now we're up to date. We're trying to make sure that we stay up to date. Thank you for that. Let me ask, Mr. Edwards, is there anything that you'd like to say today?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and to our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Falk.
Good evening. Again, thank everyone for being here tonight. Apologize for not being able to be with you. I just want to remind everyone that on Saturday, July 13th, from 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock, we will have our first annual Liberation Day. We are seeking vendors, parade participants. There's no vendor fee for interested community members who want to be a part of it. Fun and games for the family. Again, that's Saturday, July 13th. Parade is from 10 to 11 with lineup at the old Malcraft building. And then the event starting at the Creasy facility from 11 to 4. And at that time, we will have the official unveiling of the mural there in the gymnasium that is absolutely amazing. So hope to see everyone there. Thank you all for, again, being with us and sharing your thoughts, your comments, your concerns.
Thank you.
Just like to thank everybody for coming out. And I'd like to especially thank the citizens who come with your comments and your concerns, because your comments and concerns make our county a better place to live and thrive, but not one, not some, but all of us. So again, thank you for coming out tonight.
I want to thank everybody for coming out and drive safely on the way home. We had an employee killed in a car accident over the weekend, so you never know when something can happen, so drive safe.
So again, thank you all for coming and being a part of us. Remember tonight, we heard you. We're going to make sure that we do all within our power to accommodate those things as possibly can. This board has worked hard through the years to make sure that we can continue to move our county forward. Thank our board members, all of us, all of you for working so well together to make sure that we do the kinds of things that we're doing. I guess the only announcements that I need to make tonight, and I'll make more the next week, but the one I need to make tonight is we're hoping that our next board meeting will be in our new boardroom in the new courthouse. Boardroom there. Yeah, we plan to have it there. We hope to have it all complete. We have completed that move to the courthouse with their staff, and at that time, if you haven't been in the city, if you come to our next board meeting, come on early enough, you'll be able to get a visit there. So that's where we are. Also note that next to the courthouse, there's another building that's going up. We're gonna have all our administrative staff, tax department, everything will be in that building. So when you come to Jackson, you can just stop by the courthouse, and if they find you, you can go right to the clerk's office and pay your fine. And we plan to move all of that there and and we're hoping that'll be ready somewhere around December, January. Again, thank you for coming, and I'll give you an update of other kinds of things that we'll be doing. And I know by that time, our economic development would tell you about where we'll start the housing that we plan to do. And likewise, he would talk to you about when we shall start the sewer and water addition that we are to start. We plan to do that. He's working with the engineers and making sure that is done. I want to say to you that the sewer, running the new sewer line certainly must making a difference because of the fact that we've had on the lake, we've had 2 of those subdivisions to already put their name in the pot of wanting to join, hook onto that sewer line because of the fact that they find they're having some problems with their sewer system. Then we got another one, new development that's coming up there that's interested in likewise in that sewer line. We'll give you that information as soon as we get it all completed. Also, along with that is our water, our next water phase, which will be water phase 6. We're hoping that our next meeting we'll have when that will be let as far as the bids are concerned, along with the sewer. And you know, the sewer line is connected to all that we plan to do on the western end of the county. And we're hoping that those will go out real soon. So those are the kinds of things that we got going on in the county. Those are the kinds of things that's going to make a difference in our county. I want to thank all of you, all your support for helping us do those kinds of things we are planning to do. We do know that we shall continue to move our county forward. They're making a difference who's sitting in this seat. It's make a difference if they are willing to take the steps necessary so that our county can continue, will grow, will not be, population will not be declining as it's been for the last 8 years. We want to do something to keep some of our young people in Northampton County. Certainly, we're planning, hoping that these things will help do that. And as we move our county forward. Again, thank you for coming. And if you got any questions, our county manager is right there in his office. Assistant county manager in their office. All you got to do is just go out there and talk to them. They'll sit down with you. They'll go over with you everything, anything that you don't understand or don't know. Please go see them. They'll be willing to sit down with you and go. Might not give you the answer you want, but they'll sit down with you. They'll go over with you all the kinds of things that we're doing in Northampton. Again, thank you all for coming. At this time, board members, we do need to go into closed session. And I'll ask at this time for a motion that we can go into closed session.
Make a motion, we go into closed session.
Second.
Okay, do we need those other numbers?
I can cite it for the record. General Statute 143-318.11 A6 Personnel, A3 Attorney-Client Privilege, A4 EDC Report.
Thank you. All right, we're going to closed session. Thank you.
There's a motion.
Oh, motion.
Need to vote, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it that's new to church now?
Broadnex Taylor.
Aye.
Okay.
Broadnex. I'm sorry, can I interrupt? Can you second the motion to go into closed session?
Second.